What if the most meaningful insights don't come from clarity, but from the moments when everything feels uncertain? This is Unpolished Wisdom, a space for conversations that are beautifully imperfect, raw, unfinished, and deeply human. I'm Dr. Katrina Gisperte, a medical doctor and executive well-being coach. Through my work, I help people navigate transitions with honesty, courage, and compassion. Today, I'm in conversation with Matt Collier, a leader whose journey through multiple transitions is both deeply personal and profoundly universal. Matt is a cross-sector leader with nearly 20 years of experience spanning multiple industries. He is the founder of DignifyX, a company focused on helping financial advisors build dignified careers. Based in Singapore, Matt holds a Stanford MBA and has built his career across consulting, financial services, entrepreneurship, and government service, serving in the Obama administration. But behind all of this, Matt is very much shaped by where he grew up, carrying with him a blue-collar upbringing and Western Pennsylvania values. Thank you so much for being here, Matt.
Thank you for having me.
It means so much to me that you're
Likewise.
here. Talk us a little bit through your seasons of transitions. I know there have been many
Oh
across
gosh, so
different,
many.
exactly, through careers, seasons of life. How did these shape you?
Well, gosh, in your intro, you talked about courage and honesty and compassion.
Mhm.
I would add one more,
Mhm.
just humility.
Oh.
There's something about going through transition and sometimes from one thing to the next leaves you weak and vulnerable and reflective. And if you lean into that, you can't help but see things that you aren't proud of in your
Mm.
past.
Mm.
And there's a humility that comes with that. And I would say that's probably one of the things that marks all of my transitions, humility.
Thank you for sharing that. And what do you mean about parts that you're not particularly proud
Ooh.
of?
Well, this is, you probably know this, reflective practice. The idea that you go out, you try something, you come back, you reflect on it. What went well? What didn't go well? What would you do differently next time? And in seasons, talking about seasons of life, you reflect back on a chunk of time.
Mm.
Could be marked by going to school, could be marked by an internship, one job to the next, relationships. And if you're reflective, then you look back at it. What worked? What didn't work? What would I do differently next time? And in the parts that didn't work, you have to face into that. What what was it about me and how I showed up in those situations? The decisions that I faced, the people that I encountered that I'm not proud of. I want to be better than that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I mean by proud. Of course, decisions, we all make silly decisions that we wish that we had made differently or
Yeah.
done something differently. But I'm talking more about how you show up with other people and what impact you make on them. And if you care about people, who they are, who they're becoming in the world, and you understand that you have an effect on them just by virtue of being in the same space at the same time, then you can't help but think, how could you do better next time?
Yeah. What was your biggest lesson?
Oh gosh, biggest lesson.
Yeah.
I would say it probably has to do with, I've been on a journey my whole life around self-awareness, becoming more and more authentic and more comfortable with myself and who I am. And once you get a taste of self-awareness, you can be lured into thinking that you are self-aware and that you can see things, you see them clearly. But I think one of the lessons that I've carried is you can never see it as clearly as you think. You can only see it clearly in retrospect. When you take the time to sit down, and it doesn't happen in a moment, but when I say sit down, it's over time, and really reflect on who was I
Yeah.
in that moment and what was I missing.
And also because we physiologically cannot see ourselves without a mirror.
Yes.
So, how have these moments, these transitions, the uncertainty, the dark and the light of it all, how were they your mirrors?
Oh gosh. This is the unpolished part of the podcast, yeah?
Yes, as we promised.
Yeah. The mirrors, I guess one way, I mean, obviously there's the physical mirror. You can look in it and look yourself in the eye. And if you do that, that's a moment of honesty that's tough to escape from. That's one type of mirror. I think another mirror is how you see yourself in others.
Mm.
So, not to get too geeky, but the whole idea of the Jungian shadow theory.
Yep.
And all who meet will meet again until the relationship becomes whole.
Mm.
And that wholeness is just as much about you as it is about the other person in the relationship. So another mirror are the people that you interact with and what they show you about who you are.
Mm. Wow, that's a lot, right? And I love that you mentioned the Jungian psychology, right? I love that whole idea of Carl Jung introducing the idea of the shadow. And I even wrote down a quote that I love from Carl Jung, and it goes, "Everything that irritates us about others leads us to an understanding of ourselves."
It's a mirror.
It's a mirror. And what did it reflect back to you?
I think, gosh, it's hard. Some of this stuff, it's hard to put into words because we really are talking about the essence of life. If
Yeah.
you're talking about who you are and how you show up, how you move through space, how you interact with people, you boil it down. You can try to boil it down. I'm going to. Kindness. Was I kind in that moment or in that season? Was I gentle? And the gentle one, this gets back to the Pennsylvania values and upbringing. In my grandmother's house, if someone was sleeping or napping, you dare not make a sound or slam a door or close a drawer too hard. It was all about being gentle. When you sat down on the sofa, when you pulled a chair up, these kinds of things. It's that idea of being gentle in the moment, kind, gentle, humble, respectful, empathetic, these kinds of things.
Yeah, I get that. And so on this journey, long journey, many transitions, was there anybody who played a significant role in that journey? Were there mentors along the
Many.
way? Were there dementors?
Many.
Tell me a bit about that.
Well, first I would say, when you talk about that beautiful introduction that you did of me, and then we added in the part about the blue-collar upbringing and the Western Pennsylvania values. I think there's no way that I could be where I am today, to have come as far as I've come, to have done the things that I've done, had it not been for, I should have added one to my generosity. Was I generous? Had it not been for the generosity of people and what they give, and some give time, they just give you time. Some give you an ear, a shoulder. Some give you perspective. Some sponsor you, some help you.
Yep, some champion you.
All of it. And so when I look back, were there mentors? Many. Were there sponsors? Many. Were there dementors? Should we say what we mean by dementor?
Yes, please.
Go ahead. Oh, I got that from you.
When I say dementors in the Harry Potter sense, right? So somebody who, when they come in, they do suck the energy out of you. There's a darkness there, a heaviness, right? As compared to, metaphorically speaking, somebody who brings in the light
Yes.
and the joy and the ease.
Yes, there were many of those as well. But then if we go back to the mirror, in the moment, you might look at a dementor, someone who sucks the energy and brings the darkness, and that may well be true. But if you apply the Jungian shadow theory, then you have to accept that some of that would be yours.
Yeah.
And what you're bringing to the situation.
Yeah. And how have you reconciled that with, and all of us have had experiences with this, with people who are just difficult, possibly a barrier we feel to our growth. Now that you've stepped out of that, you're in a different transition.
Yes.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
How have you reconciled that in your life?
Well, first, it's a lifelong journey. And again, back to that point of self-awareness. Just when you think you're self-aware, that would be the moment to check in and say, maybe not so much. And so in this case, the idea of dealing with the dementors, you may be more equipped than you were before, but you're never perfectly equipped to handle it.
Mm. Mm.
And so I think there's something here about attitudinal muscles,
Mm.
like the things that we build inside of ourselves to be able to identify it, assess it, determine our response, cope if we have to cope, if there's no clear way out. And each one that you run into is different.
Mm. Yeah, no,
And so you just, again, you may think you know it, but you've been dealt a new hand by the universe. That new hand is this dementor that's in front of you in this particular situation, this moment in time. And what you hope is that you've built some attitudinal muscles to help you through better than you would have before.
yeah. And I want to share my experience with one of my mentors, and he's passed away in an accident about 6 years ago. And I loved him dearly because he really did bring me into the work of coaching and consulting, and getting me into a career I never thought I could have. And he really opened up doors for me. But my God, the feedback I would get, I would be in tears. Right? I would be in tears. I'd question my self-worth. If I'd get something wrong, it really felt like a stab in my heart whenever he'd give me that feedback. And at some point, we obviously didn't know that he was going to pass away. I wanted out. I was done. I was in a place where I said, I do not deserve to be treated this way.
Yes.
And actually, since he's passed, and of course I was very sad that he had passed away, and I see it from very different eyes now. I see it that actually the lessons that he taught me in a short span of time have impacted me so much.
In ways that you value.
In ways that I value, in ways that have made me really good at my job. And I wouldn't have this kind of insight if I didn't go through that. And it's just so interesting to see it now from that perspective, what I call coming out of the dance floor and onto the balcony.
I like that.
Mm.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? This kind of feedback that you might get can sometimes be tough to take on. And so depending on whatever state you were in, wherever you were at that part of your journey, it may have come across as dementorship, if that's a word.
Yeah.
But as time passes, as you grow, as you can see more clearly,
Totally.
you see it differently. I can say for me, if you were to look at the handful of people that I might classify as dementors across my life, my whole life, I'm not just talking career, childhood as well, those dead and alive, so all but maybe one or two, I could say I love them now. And not that I didn't before, but I don't know that I knew then as much as I know now at this stage in my life what it means to love, like true unconditional love for them as a person, but also for them and the person that they were for me and what they gave to me. I just have such deep respect and admiration, again, for almost all.
Yeah, I hear that. And I think my learning for me, and tell me if this resonates with you, is with our mentors, with those who've walked this path before us. For me, I tend to put them up on a pedestal.
Yeah.
I put them up on a pedestal that has them be more than human, that they cannot do any wrong. But the moment they come off that pedestal, it's like, well, that wasn't our agreement.
Yeah.
Right? That wasn't what you promised me. That wasn't our relationship. But actually, when we start to realize and really feel and experience them as they're just human beings who are
100%.
trying their best.
And when you say come off the pedestal, I think what I take from that is it's in some moment that you shared in the nature of that dementorship relationship.
Exactly.
I think there's another way to look at coming off the pedestal, which is over time or as time passes and pedestal just sort of lowers or fades away, and you're not putting them on that higher place, that you see that they're human too and share the same flaws and insecurities and quirks
Yeah.
and other things. And I think when you can see people through that lens,
Yeah.
they're humans too. They've got struggles. It might not be at its face,
Yeah.
but we all have it in some way.
Yeah. We're all struggling. We're all just trying our best. And I think that's where the one self-compassion and the compassion for others, comes through. And it's so important in relationships. And you mentioned kindness, being gentle, humility,
Generosity.
Can I add one more word to that?
Absolutely.
Forgiveness.
Yes.
Mm.
And they often say, you would know more about this from a coaching perspective.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is not about them or the other. Forgiveness is for you and what you can let go.
Yeah. And what does it mean to actually forgive? What does it mean to you, Matt?
To let it go.
What is letting go? Letting go of what?
Whatever dark energy that surrounds it.
Walking away, letting it go, not letting it impact you, not letting the heaviness set in.
Yes.
And the metaphor I have for it is carrying that knapsack, that backpack of bricks that all of us,
Yeah.
without thinking about it, without knowing, unconsciously, we carry. And for me, that showed up as resentment. And resentment as an emotion is anger that you don't express. Nobody knows you're angry.
Yeah.
You're just pissed off, right? And it doesn't impact anybody else.
Or does it? I might have a slightly... So
Okay, tell me. Ooh, I love it. Okay.
I think in this one, if you're carrying that... Okay, so I don't have the full language for it. Okay, so this is unpolished. If it's energy and you're carrying that energy and vibrating at some frequency, those who are somewhat tuned in and able to receive frequencies or detect energy will detect it. It will affect them. And that gets a little bit back to the Jungian aspects of it. It actually doesn't matter what happens in a situation. Two people are in a moment and place and time, and they're vibrating together.
Yes.
And so that's the whole idea of letting it go. Now, don't let me suggest that I've somehow mastered this. I haven't.
Yeah.
It's that I'm more and more aware of what it means to carry that around and what effect it has on others.
Oh, yeah.
In small ways and even in ways that we can't perceive. We know the positive side, the stuff that everyone says, be nice to the cashier.
Yeah.
Smile at the security guard. Okay, I think people can detect whether it's real or not.
Oh, yeah,
That's
of course.
performative.
The authenticity, yeah. Yeah.
But the other side of it is the other side of a smile or something. If you're just in a hurry or in a huff, that brushes off on people in some way, I think.
Yes, and if I may.
Yes, of course.
Yes, your energy, physics, right? Your energy, your frequency will impact other people. But I think it is also our responsibility to protect our energy.
Yes.
So it's a yes and for me, not a yes but.
I was thinking about this. I once had a therapist back in Washington, D.C. for a couple of years, and he left a big impact on me. He had a couple of rules. Healthy people live in the present. Healthy people express their feelings safely as they're having them. Healthy people are integrated. And healthy people have healthy boundaries. And you can boil it down to boundaries.
Totally. And for me, because I do feel very deeply, I can sense things quite easily, energetic boundaries as well.
Well, that was his thing. So if you were one of his alums,
Yeah.
and I was referred to him, so I know at least one other person that had benefited from his therapy over the years. That one of the things, when you take on these rules and you explore them, more than just the catchphrases that I gave, right? But the one about boundaries, people initially interpret it as more mechanical or physical boundaries, like this person's a dementor, therefore I cut them out.
Yeah.
or that, this event or this type of work doesn't bring me energy, therefore I cut it out.
Mm-hmm.
Those are mechanical or physical in
Yep.
nature. When you graduate through his coaching,
Yep.
therapy, you understand that it's at the energy level as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. And learning to take care of you, I think that's a really big one that a lot of people don't realize. You become a victim of how everybody else is showing up rather than, well, what is it that you're responsible for? Right? So other people may be having a bad day, but it doesn't have to affect you. You still have a
Yes.
choice. Yeah.
Well, in that moment, as you're saying, I understand that person has flaws and struggles and whatever, and they might just be having a bad day. Nothing to do with me.
Exactly.
But this point of self-care, I mean, you work with a lot of leaders in your work.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the most important obligations that a leader has to take care of themselves, because the healthier they are, the better equipped they are to look after the people who work for them. And so taking care of yourself in whatever way that means, right? It could be
Yeah.
different for different people. It could be diet, could be sleep, could be exercise, could be quiet time, could be reading, could be family time. Hard to say what it is, but whatever is needed for you, that is as important as the meeting or the report or the deck, because you're the leader. You're on the stage. People are looking to you.
No, totally. If you don't take care of you, you can't take care of what you care about.
That's right.
That just comes to it. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit.
Well, can I just say before we do, back
Sure.
to honor this therapist of mine, Patrick Gleason is his name. One of his other little phrases, lots of catchphrases. The best way to take care of someone else is to take care of yourself.
All right. So you've mentioned that almost all of your D mentors,
Yeah.
okay, those who you've experienced darkness with, you've let go or forgiven. Can I be cheeky and ask about the one you haven't?
This one, I think when I say the mentors that I've had in life and how I've now come to a place of deep respect, admiration, love for them as humans and also for what they've given me. It's because as I look across that set, whatever you would call it, the frustration, the disappointment, the dark energy that was stirred inside of me as a result of that relationship had to do with me and that person and how I was reacting. And the case where I haven't quite let go yet, it wasn't just me and that person, it was that person's effect on others as well. And I already shared that I have a view of leadership, and people give you time, big chunk of their time, their talent, their passion, they bring that to you. You have a responsibility and obligation to those people to treat them well and to respect and honor the thing that they're bringing you, time, talent, and passion. And so the one case that I'm still working on is that it wasn't just me. It was the negative and deleterious effect on a vast swath of people. And for me, that just does not comport with my views of what constitutes good leadership.
So what now?
Well, I got myself out of that situation.
Okay. You physically stepped away.
Yes, well, we talked also about boundaries. When I said before that the idea of boundaries, of course it is energy, but there are mechanical boundaries too, or physical ones. And you just say, this doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah. And it's a great lead up to my next question, actually, which is you have left jobs and roles before without any clear landing point. It was a bit of an unknown, right? So my question for you is, what did those transitions, those moments in between where you were really unsure, right? What did they teach you about your own share of the darkness?
I'll answer that by way of a story.
Okay.
The first time I did this, maybe 12, 15 years ago, I was really wrestling with whether to leave or not. And there's a whole bunch of things. It wasn't just, it wasn't the role per se. It was more just the stage of life that I was at. And my roommate at the time, an old soul, self-described old soul, was going on this journey with me. And he gave me a card, which I still have. And the card says, leap and the net will appear.
Mm.
And on the inside, he put a $100 bill, US, crisp, new, nice. Because one of the considerations then, at that point was not knowing what you're going to next opens up financial concerns.
Yeah.
And what he was encouraging me to see is possibilities, the future. Get yourself unentangled from the situation that you're in now, and whatever it is that's holding you back or causing consternation, and get yourself focused on the future
Mm-hmm.
and the opportunities, and everything that surrounds that will follow.
Mm. It takes faith, though.
Well, yes, leap and the net will appear. I'm kind of when I like to look over the edge to, I don't know, see if there might be a net.
Exactly, right?
Or at least a place to connect a net
Yes,
before jumping.
exactly. Or there's a space for somebody to put a net
Yes,
at some
that's it.
point. But what would you give as advice to people who are stuck, perhaps in a situation where it's impossible, right? When I say impossible, maybe they're dealing with a dementor. Maybe they need the job. They need the job to feed their families. Nobody has that privilege to kind of just walk away
Yeah.
and leave tomorrow. So what advice would you give?
There are two pieces, I think. The first one is very much a threshold question.
Mm.
Again, back to your question, like, have I had mentors? I've had many. One of them, another of them, Ambassador John Barry, who was my boss in the first term of the Obama administration when he was the head of the civil service. And then in the second term, he was the U.S. ambassador to Australia. So literally and figuratively a statesman. And I remember it was one year, first year of the administration, 2009. I was a freshly minted MBA. We were in, quintessential, could be a Netflix thing, quintessential black SUV driving across town to a meeting. And I was with another young staffer in the car. And John was saying to us, talking about who you work for. DC especially is a patronage town. If you're a
Yeah.
political appointee or something, you work for the boss. Of course, the cause too, but it's primarily patronage. And he would say, if you're ever working for someone that's unethical or, not fit, or asking you to do things that don't feel right to you,
Mhm.
don't walk, run. Doesn't matter how much they're paying you, because there's a price to be paid on the other side of that. So that's the threshold one. So whatever situation you might be in, you have to ask yourself first, am I at a place where this just does not work for me? It doesn't matter. All the other
Yeah.
stuff, strip it away. It doesn't matter. This does not work for me, my values, principles, who I am, and the rest. After you cleared that threshold, if that's not the case, then I think it's a lot of what we've been talking about. Self-awareness. What's my role in this?
Mm.
How can I show up differently? And by doing so, create a different situation that might be more tolerable, to buy myself the time to figure out how to get to a better fit.
Yeah. And what resonates with me as you're saying that is the realization that we all have a choice in every moment. We all have a choice, whether it's in attitude, in perspective, in action.
Yes.
But there is always something you can do differently.
And it might just be starting with yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to submit a letter of resignation. You don't have to go to HR. You don't have to have that confrontational meeting with the boss.
Yeah.
You could just take a breath, look in the mirror, whichever mirror is available to you,
Mm.
and ask yourself, how can I show up to this differently?
Yeah.
In order to buy myself time and space to figure out a path that will work better for me.
In those times when you were holding both the light and the dark without turning away from either, who supported you or what supported you through those shadowed times?
All of these amazing people in my life. I mean, now I would say my husband,
Mm.
who's an artist and who is both an artist and is studying theology. And some of his works have focused on liminal space. which
I
is
love that.
in between.
Yeah.
Um, and so I've been very lucky in the last 7 years to have someone like him by my side to help me see this more clearly. Um, but all of these amazing people, the therapist, Patrick Gleason, would say how we do endings is just as important as how we do beginnings because they're connected. If you're closing something off, you properly do it. And that gives you the space and the right energy and frequency to move into what's next. So I think that's the way to think about it. The people around you, whoever they are, and it's different in different seasons.
Yeah.
If you have a spouse that you love and trust and who loves and trusts you, then that's a good place to turn. But mentors, friends, family. I would even, for a while, as I was making transitions within the US and even since I've moved to Asia, going home sometimes. Just for example, my mother's farm in Western Pennsylvania. Something about the air, something about the smell of it, the dew on the grass, the taste of the spring water. It grounds you. It reminds you who you are, where you came from, that you're loved. And that's one. Another one would be I often go back to my undergraduate alma mater and walk the campus and reconnect with the incredible people in and around student activities who played such a formative role in helping me at that time. So the people in your life, the places, the memories that you can touch base with, reconnect, put your feet on the ground.
Yeah. What I am taking away is the importance of relationship and connection, of having a village
Yeah.
to support you, creating that village for yourself.
And then respecting and honoring it
Yeah.
and paying attention to it. And when you reconnect with it, doing it from a place of reflection.
I love that. Reflection and self-awareness. So DignifyX is your new baby,
Yes.
which is not the new baby you're actually
other one,
having, a
yeah.
different baby. And it's all about empathy, learning, and AI, the three things that don't always go together. How did your experience shape what you're building now?
The whole premise of DignifyX is built on reflective practice.
Hmm.
AI, the technology, is new. The learning science is not, or even, the psychology around it is not. How adults take on information, how they internalize it, how they apply it, in other words, how they learn, this is the stuff of study for decades. So it's an AI-powered startup. Yes, it's part of this new wave of technology that we're all grappling with, but the underlying principles are enduring and they've been around for a long time. So we've talked about reflective practice. What is that? You try something, you try it, you reflect. You try, you reflect. And when you do that, we also started with seasons, which suggests longer time horizons. When we talk about try and reflect, we're talking about in the moment, sort of micro reflections that you can capture while it's live, in situ, in the moment. And what the power of AI and what its abilities around synthesis allows you to do is not only capture those, but then synthesize and summarize and play it back to you so that the mirror you're looking at is shaped by you, right? It's based on your inputs. But you have something that you can look into and say, this is the kind of professional that I am, the hard skills and how I understand my own efficacy in applying those hard skills, but also the soft skills,
Yeah.
the human skills and qualities, where skills are things that can be built and qualities are things that can be nurtured. Well, step one is, what are they? Having an understanding. And that's what DignifyX is aiming to do, is help hold a mirror up for professionals that are committed to getting better at their job and leaning into reflective practice.
So could you explain to me a bit about how the AI works, right? So for example, I have a sales call, right? And I write down through the prompts and I start putting it into DignifyX, into the platform. What comes up after?
Okay. So We've classified this into two things, inquiries and reflections. Inquiries is a request for knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Help me know more about this. Reflections are, hey, this happened, or this is going to happen. How do I think about it? What do I feel about it? What am I going to do about it? So you can imagine you're prepping for a sales call. You might have a few questions. You could, of course, go to ChatGPT, or you could go to Wikipedia, or you could maybe go to a manual somewhere, but this puts it at your fingertips. And you could also, beyond getting whatever knowledge that you need and prep for that, you basically have a coach in your pocket, something that's
I
been
love
tuned
that.
for, it's not just a generic AI tool. And look, they're good. ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Copilot, Gemini, take your pick. We've also tuned ours for the industry, for financial services, and in particular insurance professionals, so that when they make an inquiry or give a reflection, what gets played back to them is something where all of the sort of noise has been stripped away. It's perfectly tuned for that role, that situation, that context.
Oh, that's really useful. That's really powerful. Because I think, as you mentioned, right, reflective practice, it's underutilized. How many people use or have time to pause? I call it the power of the pause.
You do.
I do. It's the power of that pause. It's that ability to not react, but respond.
Yes.
And you can't do that unless you're able to have that. Maybe it's a millisecond. Maybe it's 1, 2, 3 seconds. It may seem like forever to you, but actually, it gives you that ability to think and see, well, what's the best strategy forward?
Yes.
What is really going on here?
To see the mirror clearly.
Exactly.
There's another part to this, which is interesting, and particularly in insurance and financial advisory, there's a lot of talk about coaching.
Mm.
So if you understand how the industry works, if you're an agency leader, you've been in the business for a while, you've been an advisor yourself, you're going to build and grow a practice. And so you recruit others to come join you. And part of that recruitment pitch, because if I'm being recruited, I've got lots of options. Part of that pitch is, hey, join me, because I'm uniquely equipped, suited to help you succeed in this business. There's an implicit promise.
Yes.
Choose me, and I will help show the way to a fulfilling and rewarding career for you. The reality is, though, given how our attention spans are these days, and how little time we have, that leaders, even with good intent, don't have the time, the capacity, the bandwidth, or even the capability to help. And what kind of help do people need? When you sign up with someone, it's saying, I recognize you as a leader, someone who's skilled and capable, so I want you to pass that on to me.
Yeah.
Well, how do you, if I've built up a decade or two of knowledge and experience and expertise and nuggets of wisdom and all these other things, if I don't have a clear view of your mirror, how do I know which little nugget of wisdom to deliver to you in that moment?
Yeah.
So this is the other side of it, is it's not just for the person holding up the mirror.
Yeah.
It's for leaders and managers as well to see where are the strengths that we can celebrate, where are the weaknesses we can acknowledge, and where are the opportunities that we can lean into together. Let's focus on those.
So, in your latest transition, right, aside from
It is a
DignifyX,
transition, isn't
it
it?
is. It is. You gave birth to DignifyX, right? And very soon you're gonna have a baby boy.
I am.
How's that going for you?
It is.
How are you taking that?
Well, I wish one of the things we had time to talk about are paradoxes and tensions.
We can.
Well, maybe this is the way.
Yes, it is.
The tension here is that I'm both excited
Yeah.
and terrified at the same time.
The polarity of it all. Yeah.
Just holding that in tension. It's been a dream of mine and my partners since we met more than 6 years ago. We've worked very hard to get to a place where we're ready as individuals and as a couple and also as a family to be in a position to do this. And for us, a lot of families have, they have to do family planning, other things. For LGBT couples, it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
You don't just stumble into it, is what I'm saying. And so we've gone into it with a high degree of intentionality around the kinds of parents that we want to be. And so that's where if you apply that then to the excitement, I'm really excited to pass on some of the stuff that we've talked about and help a kid with all of the wonder and everything that comes with that through child and other things, just take that on earlier and easier than I had to, because mine was hard fought.
Yep.
Um, and so there's excitement there. And then the terrification, the being terrified
Yeah.
is, what if I get it wrong?
Yeah. We're all scared of that. I am. I have 3 kids, and that still scares me to this day, even if I have a 22-year-old who's, happy and successful by all means. But I think one thing for me, and I just want to go back to what we started with, which is about being human, which is inevitably we will get it wrong.
Yes.
At some point, we will be taken off our own pedestal that we've put ourselves. But the realization is that it's okay. They don't need us to be perfect.
Yeah.
They just need us to be present.
And who we are and love.
Exactly.
Light and love.
Exactly.
Our surrogate invited us to make a recording. We have a name picked out. Joshua's the name.
Love it.
To make a recording for Joshua, and took me a few days, and I was going to script it out, and I thought, you know what, just do it live. So I made this recording, and that's part of what I said. I talked about, how we're going to welcome him with love, and what a beautiful and messy world it is, and the promise of love, but also to say that, we won't get it right, you won't get it right, but there will always be love. Always will be love.
And that's all that matters. And how do you hold that space for Joshua in this chaotic world we're in?
Well, can I go back to what we talked about before?
Yes, please.
I think parenting and leadership share a lot in common.
Definitely.
So one way to hold that space is to take good care of yourself so you can be the best parent that you can be.
And how do you keep faith and hope alive for Joshua and for your family?
Yeah.
Right? It's an impossible world we're in. It's an impossible situation. And it's a different world from when we grew up.
Very much so.
Very different. Very different. And I think your very intentional choice to have Joshua in your life, in your family, to bring him up with so much love is the essence of faith and hope.
100%.
That's what it is. Yeah. My last question for you.
Yes.
Knowing all of this now, after going through all the many transitions, the thresholds in your life, and being here, right, in this moment, if we could just slow it down. If you could hold space for that past self now, knowing what you know, what would you say to him?
You're perfect in the ways you are and in the ways you're not. Doesn't matter, still perfect.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
If this episode resonated, please follow the show and share it with a friend who might need it today. This is Unpolished Wisdom. Until next time.